I'd like to begin just by saying my name is Lisa Smith. I use she, her pronouns, and I work with the Washington State Microenterprise Association, or WSMA. And I am so grateful to be here and grateful to present with my esteemed colleague, Jennifer Quiros, with the Financial Empowerment Network. We've been working together to really demystify and underline and highlight opportunities for our organizations to do a better job at unpacking all of the resources that our organizations can use to help people with limited incomes increase their income through self-employment, as well as people who are already self-employed improve or increase, their capacity to be financially solvent, understanding their financials, and ways they can be more profitable. This is a unique opportunity because normally these communities of nonprofits don't work together. We don't typically connect our resources together. We don't typically see ourselves as natural partners. And what we want to communicate today is that not only are our organizations in these different communities natural partners, we're actually both of us are stronger when we collaborate. And so today we're going to be hearing from some excellent presenters. You will hear all about them, but they're going to be sharing their perspectives and their experience and their expertise on these topics. And we'll hear from them. We'll have ample time for us to get your questions. That is the main part I wanted to introduce. I just want to say thank you to everyone for being here, and I want to hand it over to Jennifer.
Thank you, Lisa. I want to echo Lisa's introduction and thanking all of you for being here. I'm very excited about the opportunity to talk about this overlap in the work that we do and really thinking about financial wellness as being expansive and inclusive in thinking about microenterprise, and then thinking about microenterprise and the importance of financial wellness and personal finance in that. So thank you to everyone for joining us today, and thank you, Lisa, for your partnership in putting this together. I am going to share my screen, and I literally cannot do that without narrating it out loud. Okay, so just really quickly, we have 5 goals for our webinar today. And the first one is to understand financial empowerment services, what that means when we say that, why these services are important, and what they look like in communities. We want to also talk about why small business development is such a viable option for so many communities, and how you and your roles can support folks that are interested in either owning or growing a business that they have, and what resources are available to do so. As Lisa said, the way that when you combine these two types of services, it can really multiply the impact for communities and individuals. Thinking about all the different possibilities for how this work looks, being really, thoughtful about not every organization can, today start a new program, right? But what does it look like to think about referral partnerships, to think about integrations into what you're already doing, and possibly program development as well. And hopefully you will leave today with some new resources and connections and real ways that you can find partners to work with that are engaging in this work kind of across the aisle. So that is our roadmap for today. All right, so I'd like to take just a moment to talk about the Financial Empowerment Network, because I know for many of you, you may not be as familiar with us and our work. The Financial Empowerment Network envisions communities where low and moderate income individuals and families are able to achieve financial well-being. So we do that through advancing financial empowerment through partnerships that support access to affordable, effective, and relevant financial services, products, and resources. So what does that mean? We are a liaison. We do not provide direct service. The Financial Empowerment Network does not work directly with communities. Rather, we work with providers across sectors that are working on issues of financial wellness. So I like to say we're the financial educators of the financial educators. There are two main initiatives that we work on. The first is integrating financial empowerment into other programs and services, and the second is Bank On. So I'm going to really quickly talk about both of those initiatives. So integration of financial empowerment is really about helping providers increase their ability and capacity to offer financial wellness services. Typically, in this work, we're working with nonprofit and social service partners. Some providers have dedicated financial coaches or financial education staff, but for many nonprofits, they don't have that luxury. And so very often we're working with case managers or navigators or care coordinators, folks whose titles are something else, but we know that financial wellness is really important for the clients or community members that they're working with. But it's just one part of the work they do. So our role is really to support folks across the spectrum, no matter what their level of understanding is around personal finances. Our goal is to increase folks' knowledge about finance, provide you with resources and tools, and make sure that you're more comfortable and confident working with folks on these issues. For many of us, we fall into this work. It's not something that we've maybe trained for or studied for, and a big barrier can be our own comfort with our own personal finances. So I am always here to make sure that you are learning something you can use for yourself, because I know that means that then you're able to share it with clients and community members. So we do this in a few different ways, and I'm just going to highlight a couple of things on this slide. The first is that we offer free monthly workshops, which are all virtual. So for example, we're here today with all of you and with the Washington State Microenterprise Association. Our next workshop will be on May 10th at 10 a.m. and the topic is dealing with debt collectors. And so Julia Kellison from Northwest Justice Project and Becky House of American Financial Solutions will be presenting. And I believe Shuri will be dropping that link in the chat if you're interested in registering for that. It's free, so come join us on May 10th. The next is our Financial Coaches Network. So that just launched in March, and the initiative is co-chaired by Donna O'Connor of HopeLink and Barbara Maxwell of Blue Mountain Action Council, who are both here today, so thank you for joining us. And we have a fantastic steering committee that's been helping shape and guide this work as we get ready and as we've launched. So this group meets the fourth Wednesday of each month from 2 to 3:30, which you will notice is right now. And so that group is actually going to be meeting after this webinar for an informal networking chat for 30 minutes from 3:30 to 4. So if folks are interested in staying on, you could just stay on Zoom at the end of the meeting, or save the date for our May 25th event. If you'd like to be added to those announcements, please let me know. You can drop your email in the chat or send me an email, and I'd love to add you to those to that list so you get our announcements. The last thing I'll say about this is we provide resources. So we're in the midst of redesigning our website to be easier to navigate and to get it updated. But if you check out our site, everyoneiswelcome.org, there's tons of financial empowerment related resources there. And so take a look at that, including there's a button at the top to look for financial counseling assistance. We're working on getting that updated, but you can check that out. Also, the Department of Financial Institutions maintains a statewide financial education calendar. So if you're looking for financial education in your area, that's a good place to go look. Many of those opportunities are now virtual, so folks can join from anywhere. And then if you have questions, please reach out to me. I'm happy to meet with folks and talk about our work, talk about how to do this work, what to think about, and what connections to make. So you can always reach out to me about that. The other side of the work we do is Bank On. We are the lead organization for Bank On Washington, and we also work on Bank On Seattle-King County. Bank On Seattle-King County, we are working on a youth-led model for that. And for the sake of time, I'm just going to focus on the statewide initiative, but if you're interested in that, please let me know. Bank On is a national initiative that was developed to meet the needs of folks who are un or underbanked and get them connected to safe, affordable, and functional accounts. So we know that banking access matters and can be a foundation of financial wellness for many people. for folks who do not have access to an account at a bank or credit union, it can be really expensive. On average, over a lifetime, someone who's unbanked will spend $40,000 on financial services fees, which are things that for those of us that have an account are usually free. Another really shocking statistic, and that really illustrates why bank accounts can be so important, is the ease of access. So in March of 2020, in just that first round of stimulus funds that went out, $66 million went to check cashers. That's money that people could have used for themselves and their families, but because they did not have an account or a way to get direct deposit or a way to cash their checks for free, they had to pay someone, and it was $66 million. And so looking at this issue, the CFE fund developed a certification for financial institutions that they can obtain by offering an account that meets this set of national standards. The standards were really created with consumers in mind, and so they offer features like low opening deposit, low or no monthly fees, and I think the most important is no overdraft charges. So folks cannot be charged for overdrawing their account. Some features are required, others are recommended, and I will share a link to information on how to find those. Nationally, Bank On is very focused on getting folks connected to checking accounts, but here in Washington, our goal has really moved to be a bit broader, really thinking about how do we ensure community members have access to safe, affordable, and accessible financial services across the spectrum of community needs. So really thinking about how do we reduce the cost for folks to manage their money in all of the different ways that people need to manage their money. So, thinking about payday loan alternatives, thinking about access to credit building products, capital to start a business, mortgage loans, really thinking broadly about meeting the needs of folks that are using high cost, potentially exploitative financial services. There are over 200 Bank On certified accounts now available nationwide. If you are interested in learning more, please check out our website or please reach out to me. I'm happy to talk about it. We currently partner with financial institutions, not just those that are certified, because we know there's a lot of really fantastic financial institutions doing really great work that have not gone through the process. So please join us. The last thing I will just say is that we convene Bank On folks a few times a year. So we have coffee hour events and an annual forum, and that information will be available on our website. It gets posted there and on our social media. Which leads me to my last slide. Here's how you can connect with us. There's our 2 websites, our social media. We're on LinkedIn and Facebook, and I keep them very updated. So you'll see event announcements and all kinds of great information. And then there's my email address. If you have questions, please reach out. Or like I said, if you would like to sign up for our newsletter, you can drop your email in the chat and I will gladly add you. Thank you. And with that, I'm going to turn it back to Lisa.
Wonderful. Thank you, Jennifer. What an incredible wealth of information. Thank you so much. I want to just share a little bit of information about our association. I work with the Washington State Microenterprise Association, and our role, like the Financial Empowerment Network that Jennifer works with, we focus our strategies, our support on the nonprofits that actually serve small businesses. And you can think about, like, the majority of the businesses in the state, over 400,000, are those little tiny mom and pop shops, very small, under 5 employee companies. And these very small businesses that represent the majority of the businesses in the state really don't have that many resources. And so we're incredibly grateful for the over 80 partners that we work with every day who are on the ground providing business training and technical assistance and microloans. These organizations, many of them have been around for 20 years, like SNAP in Spokane, or Business Impact Northwest, or Ventures, and some are new. And there are many there that we have not been connecting with for many years, and they've been operating on fumes. They haven't had the resources really that they need to support small businesses. So we're here, our focus is to really create a safe and welcoming community of nonprofit organizations that focus on those very small, very, very small companies, and especially those that are under-resourced, entrepreneurs in rural communities, veterans, people with limited incomes, Black, Indigenous, and other entrepreneurs of color. Because what we know is that entrepreneurship and small business development is really the backbone of our economy. If they have the resources they need, they're going to do better. If the nonprofits that are serving them are stronger, they have the capacity of funding, they have technical resources, their ability to serve those small businesses is going to be really enhanced. So I'm just really grateful to be here today. I wanted to just also say thank you to the Washington State Department of Commerce. Without their support and the funding from the legislature, we could not do this work. And so we're very grateful for the Department of Commerce that does incredible work around the state to help very small businesses and large ones as well. So I want to go just take a little bit of time to talk about kind of the core areas of our work. The first is capacity building, resources, and networking for all of these nonprofits around the state. We really are kind of laser focused on helping our partners lower the barriers to self-employment, lowering the barriers to business ownership. So making it easier to get the training they need or find new markets or be able to access funding. When these businesses have what they need, they can earn more, they can innovate, they're able to grow. And as they grow, they pay taxes and contribute to the economy. And the way our partners do that on the ground every day is through business training, business technical assistance, microloans, and advocacy. So that's the first part. And that's a capacity building resource and networking. The next part that we do is training. We offer, like Financial Empowerment Network, workshops, not necessarily every month, sometimes twice a month, sometimes once a month, but we partner with the Black-owned Business Excellence, with the Center for Sustainable Infrastructure, with the Flex Fund. We partner with organizations and entities around the state to bring these very vital tools to our nonprofit partners. Some of our workshops are actually open to businesses and our nonprofit partners, but we want to demystify all of the structures in our economy that have, that have historically marginalized large swaths of our community. We want to create better ways for people with disabilities to find the resources they need, or to really understand the difference between independent contractor employees and what the implications of not knowing that are, or how to find and access the Flex Fund, which is another Department of Commerce initiative that's really innovative. What we know is that when these training programs are available, like this one today, then our partners are able to use that information and apply it to the small businesses. So this is our training and technical assistance component. The next part that we do is grant funding. We do write grants as well, but we want to do everything we can to help the nonprofits we serve get the actual money they need to train more businesses or provide microloans or reach a new geographic community. So this is just a group of nonprofits that we were funding in this round. Last year, we were able to fund 1.6 million, and we hopefully will be able to do more in the fall. So grant making is a big part of WSMA. And so take a look at these folks. There are others on our website as well. The last part I really want to focus on is resource coordination. So thanks to the Department of Commerce and the Small Business Administration, Small Business Development Centers, Minority Business Development Agency, Main Street, and WEDA, the Washington Economic Development Association, we were able to put together with our partners at SourceLink a resource that we're going to launch in May. And what this is going to be able to do is help all of our partners and educational institutions and the SBA and anyone else who provides the business technical support to businesses to be on this platform, so that every business, any business, anywhere in the state, 24/7, free of charge, can look up what kind of business resources are available to them. So we're super excited about this. So if you in the audience are doing training or technical assistance or business support for very small businesses, contact us. Click on that link, fill out an application, and we will get you as a partner on Evergreen BizLink. So that's the last part I wanted to share. Feel free to contact us. We're on all of these platforms. We're extremely grateful for any connection. We do our best to promote our partners, and we want to keep track of you. We want you to reach out to us. If you want to be on our newsletter, you'll get information about upcoming grants and resources. But really, this was what we wanted to present today. And I can't tell you how impressed I am with our speakers today. There are many, many speakers who could be here today, but we're grateful for these folks, and we're looking forward to providing similar workshops in the future. So that's all I wanted to share on my part. So what we'd like to do now is go through and have these amazing presenters introduce themselves. And what I would love to do is have each presenter take 5 to 7 minutes really to present who you are, your organization, the role you play, and how you fit in this business development or financial empowerment space. We're going to begin with Jennifer S. Tucker, who is a bright light in the state and is working with Seattle Credit Union. We also want you to cover and look at what specific support that you offer around small business development and or financial empowerment. So without further ado, Jennifer S. Tucker.
Thank you, Lisa. I'm so excited to see that Evergreen BizLink come up. I remember when you first talked about it a while ago, and I know you've been working really hard on that. So that made me smile today. So before I get started, I do want to say I hate sitting on a Zoom call for hours and never get addressed. So I want to say thank you all. But I also want to ask you, what made you smile today? Just type it in the chat. I don't know. Maybe you looked outside and the sun was shining. That made me smile too. But what made you smile today? Type that in the chat because I want to know. I want to understand who's in the Zoom. And if you're not smiling, I don't know what to tell you. Like, do I need to make you smile? Like, where we need to go from here? Okay. So that made me smile when I saw, oh my goodness, Lisa finally got that up. I know that was a heavy lift. It was very expensive. I remember when you first brought it to the Small Business Development Center when I was there. So that is amazing. All right, listen. Okay, I see some good stuff. Waking up, dark chocolate, coffee, 11-week-old puppy today. Oh, that's cute. The kiddos running back to give me a real quick hug. Oh, I love that. The sweet kitty. I don't like cats, but I love that you love them. All right, listen. Okay, thank you, Beth. I love you even more. Listen, that's my love language. Words of affirmation. All right, so listen. Thank you all for just telling us what made you smile today, because that's important. We're all here to gain information, but we're also here giving a little bit of our day and sitting on this screen in front of this Zoom after having maybe had a couple other meetings and maybe going to another one. So I just wanted to give a moment of pause. So a little bit about what we do at the Seattle Credit Union. So first of all, I'm very new in my position here. I am the Vice President of Community Relations and Public Affairs. I came here because I was really excited about the work that Seattle Credit Union was doing and how they were helping my clients, which were small business owners. And so when they offered me this position, I was like, you know what? Yeah, I'll come over there. I'm excited about it. And so some of the things that excited me and made me smile about Seattle Credit Union is the fact that we've been around since 1933. And we will be around for much longer. We started for the unbankable, the folks who couldn't bank anywhere else. And so when Jennifer was talking about those folks and making sure that we have an equitable ecosystem and making sure that the financial services and resources are reaching the folks who need them, that's the reason why Seattle Credit Union started. And also while we're still in business today. So one of our core values is being mission aligned and making sure that what we do is always going to be thinking about, listening to, and curating products that help the folks who are underserved. And so that's something that I love about Seattle Credit Union. So we want to be a partner in our members' growth and their prosperity, and regardless of where they start. So the approach is very focused and making sure that you get where you want to be as a partner of Seattle Credit Union. And when I say partner, I'm not just talking about our members, but I'm also talking about our staff. I'm talking about our small business owners. I'm talking about the community, the folks who we supply grants and sponsorships to. And so that's exciting for me. So we're growing and able to meet and anticipate the needs of our members and the greater community at large. So we have a focused approach to everything we do. We have innovative solutions. I heard Jennifer talk about check cashing, 66 million. I can't wait to read that report. So thank you for dropping it in the chat. That's the type of stuff I love to read and kind of understand. One of the things that we understood at Seattle Credit Union is that these not just the check cashing, but also the predatory lenders that are out here, these check cashing folks that are robbing folks with 333% interest and all that craziness, right? So what we just launched this month in April is a lightning loan. That lightning loan, it does not pull credit. It does not have any criteria. It's $2,500 that any member at Seattle Credit Union can just push a button, 60 seconds and say, I need a loan. That loan can help to pay off some of those payday lenders and other things that come up, major expenses, up to $2,500. So one of the things that I love is that we just launched that. It was a soft launch. We launched it. Guess what? Over 320 members got that loan and is able to do some things in their lives, in their businesses quickly, right? At a rate that's not going to kill them, right? So that is what Seattle Credit Union does. And that's what I'm super proud of, that we are responsive. We're responsive to the needs of our community. And we are putting out products that really service that need. Some of our special products, I mean, we have products like everybody else, right? With the lending, the banking, and all those things, even the workshops. Somebody mentioned the workshops, financial literacy, contract negotiation, lease negotiations, the things that folks are really dealing with on a daily basis. Like they're getting into leases and don't even know what they signed, because guess what? Most times we don't read it, right? And so because we don't read it, when something comes up, we're surprised that's what's in there. Like, oh my goodness, I didn't know I signed that. So we are doing things like lease negotiations. Let's pay attention to that lease. And just because somebody sent you something don't mean you need to sign it. You need to review it and you need to mark it up and make sure you understand what it is and take some things out. So every time somebody sends you a lease of any kind, a type of contract or anything, read it and make it make sense for you, okay? So those are the things that we are teaching our members, teaching our community. In addition to those things, we do some amazing stuff around I-10 lending. So folks who don't even have a social security number can come to Seattle Credit Union and get a bank account and get some of our traditional lending, but can also get a mortgage. Yes, that's pretty amazing, pretty phenomenal. Right now, we are even working on Muslim financing. So not just 0%, because we have some things that are 0%. We have some fees along with that, but we got to get it approved by an imam. So we have some things that are out there, but because they haven't been imam approved, we can't even say they're Muslim financing, because if an imam is not saying it, we ain't saying it, okay? So we've been working with some imams for about 6 to 8 months right now, and just trying to figure it out, make sure that this is truly right for the community. We are never coming with this cookie cutter approach to say, oh, you know what, you like oranges? Here's an orange, have yourself one and keep it moving. No, we're saying you like oranges? Oh, you like blood red oranges. You like them cut in 4 slices instead of 2. Let us help you with that. Let us see how, because regulations have stopped and traditionally, historically, kept people away from having financial security and economic self-sufficiency. And what Seattle Credit Union is doing and making sure that we come alongside that community and figure out, why is that regulation like that? How can we get outside of that and figure out a way to make it happen, regardless of what the regulation is? So that's why Seattle Credit Union makes me smile. Y'all see this beautiful smile? And that's why I'm happy. I'm happy to be a part of something that's really, truly making a difference for our community. The other thing that I would say, we're talking about financial wellness and small business. Right now, we have products that we have yet to roll out, because we're not just rolling out anything, but we are curating products with the client in mind. And so we have a website, seattlecreditunion.com/BOBI, that's Black-owned business excellence, because we've partnered with BOBI to make sure that we are curating things that's not just a no. You know how your clients, any of you around here that deal with small businesses, then you know for sure they go to different financial institutions and they walk away sad or mad because they're not getting what we told them they would get. So we at Seattle Credit Union, we're curating products specifically for Black-owned businesses, specifically for startups, specifically for folks who are historically marginalized. Their credit scores are low. They have, all these things. We are curating products to say, you know what, just because you have low income or low credit, that doesn't mean you're high risk. And we learned that from people like Ventures. Ventures been doing it for years. So we sitting back and we watching the folks who are doing it well and realize, hey, Beto, what y'all doing over there? Why y'all do that? How's it working out for you? Okay, then maybe we should be doing it too, okay? So we are having these conversations and talking to the right folks and curating products, that we can help Ventures out, because Ventures can't do everything. Business Impact Northwest, they can't do everything. Craft 3, Evergreen Business Capital, these are our CDFIs. And we are a CDFI, proud CDFI, proud LID members. So what I'm saying is, in a nutshell, is that Seattle Credit Union is absolutely linking financial wellness to small business success. One of the things that I'm particularly proud of, I think my time is running out and I'm very conscious of that and respectful of time, but I do want to say this, Lisa, before you cut me off or tap my shoulder, I do want to say that we have some amazing partnerships and we are very proud of the partnerships we have. One of the partnerships that I want to highlight is with the International Rescue Committee. I saw Lauren on here. We reached out when they were bringing refugees from Afghanistan, and they were doing exactly what Jennifer said. They were giving them cards with their limits on it, with their balances on it, and they were going and spending all this money, but assessing all these fees. And so they reached out to us like, hey, how can y'all help? We like, listen, how can we help? Let's figure it out. So we did. We went and we said, okay, we know they don't have a Social Security number yet. We know the Social Security Administration is backed up. We're not going to let that be a barrier. We're going to make sure that we're breaking down those barriers and really giving people access to financial stability and financial security, regardless of how they're joining us and how they're becoming new members of the United States of America. So anyways, that's just one of the proud partnerships that we have. If you want to partner with us, definitely. I am the Vice President of Community Relations and Public Affairs. We are always looking for mission-aligned partners and people that we can align our business with and make sure that it's really getting to the community. All right, so Cherie will send you our information. I will put my email in the chat. I'm excited. I really appreciate being here. I thank you, Lisa, for inviting me. And I just thank you for this platform, because we really need to do what we say we're doing in a way that the folks know we're doing it, right? Not just our mouths, but their mouths saying we're doing it. So listen, if nothing has made you smile today, you better find something to make you smile before this day ends. All right, Lisa, I'm turning it back to you.
Awesome. Thank you, Jennifer S. Tucker. Thank you so much. And I think what you did was highlight just how vital that financial institutions are in helping folks find their way. Just be very picky when you're looking for the right financial institution. Okay, so now we're going to go to Beth Enriquez. She's a program director with the Enterprise for Equity, and take it away, Beth. Thank you for being here.
Oh, it's my pleasure, and it certainly was a pleasure to listen to Jennifer Ness. I feel that I could listen to you all day. So thanks for making me smile, and I'm going to share my screen. Okay, so as Lisa said, I'm the program director at Enterprise for Equity. We are a nonprofit based out of Olympia, and we've been around for a little over 20 years. I think Cherie is going to drop this information into the chat and share it with folks so you can connect with us in a variety of ways, and stay tuned about our programs and services and fun stories. So we are a microenterprise development organization. The core reason we exist is to help empower people financially. And we primarily do that through offering business trainings and helping people get into self-employment. We've been doing this for over 20 years. We offer microloans, technical assistance, business trainings, and financial training. The pictures you're going to see throughout this slideshow are folks that we've worked with. Okay, so you wanted to hear a little bit about the services we offer. So we do offer business support programs. We offer financial empowerment programs. I'm going to start by telling you a little bit about our business support programs first. We offer 2-day business readiness workshops. These are for folks who want to really get into kind of a business think tank arena and explore how to launch, what they need to be thinking about, or maybe they've already launched and have a business, but they got into it because they were able to sell something that they know how to make or know how to do, but really need to understand the business side of things better so that they can really turn a profit and be sustainable. So we also offer a 40+ hour in-depth strategic business planning program. We offer one-on-one business coaching and other special programs and technical assistance. We have a microloan program. It goes from $1,000 to $25,000. That $1,000 entry point, graduates of our business program can access without collateral. And we also have a cool Shop Local page on our website that highlight many of the graduates who've gone through our business planning program and are operating in the 9-county region that we serve. Right now, all of our programs primarily are virtual, which has given us a nice broad reach, thanks to funding from WDVA, Department of Commerce CDBG programs, and DCYF. We are working with incarcerated youth, and veterans across the state, as well as folks in rural areas. Okay, Money 101 is our financial well-being program. We've been offering this for well over 10 years. It's free to the general public. We emphasize that entrepreneurs in our business programs take this. We have had over 600 participants and counting. We offer this as a 8-class series, and it incorporates the Money Smart curriculum developed by FDIC, which, if you're not familiar with this, and many of you probably are, it comes in multiple languages. They have it for many different age groups. We ourselves have developed a Money 101 program for young adults as well as adults. And one of the cool things that we launched last year was a facilitator training for frontline staff. So we were invited to participate in a nationwide program many years ago, which is trying to look at best practices in among practitioners of financial education, financial literacy development. And at the conclusion of this 1 year, we were convened in Minnesota. And the primary takeaway for the organization that led this project was that really frontline staff at agencies that serve low to moderate income people actually are also low to moderate income. But like Jennifer said at the very beginning, kind of fall into this job of offering, financial coaching and financial education, but feel both personally unprepared to do it and professionally unprepared to do it. So one of the best practice takeaways for us was, let's find ways to bring frontline staff into our Money 101 programs. And then for some of them who are really ready and wanting to do it, help them become trained to actually lead Money 101 programs. Okay, topics that we cover in our Money 101 program, you can see here, probably pretty familiar to most of you. I think I want to highlight one of the unique things that we do, which is that in all of our Money 101 programs, we incorporate a dependable strengths module and a self-employment as an income earning strategy module. Dependable strengths is really about helping people align with their core strengths and use those as their North Star and compass for career pathway searches. And then we always highlight self-employment, being an MDO, we highlight self-employment as an income earning strategy and start brainstorming some fundamentals around that. I am getting frozen here. Here we go. Okay. I wanted to share with you some brief statistics. We did a survey of, I think, about 250 people who'd gone through our Money 101 program. 50% of them responded, and you can just read here on the right of the slide that the vast majority came out of that program, and many, many months later, we're experiencing things like still using the budget they created, following their spending plan, eliminating bad spending habits that didn't support their dreams and their goals and their values. We're tracking where their money was going, and over 90% indicated that that class either somewhat or significantly contributed to an overall sense of well-being. Now, those are statistics, but what I'm really excited to share with you is a story from the mouths of actually a woman who went through both our Money 101 program and our business planning program.
Hey, my name is Gio, and I'm a professional writer. I went through Enterprise for Equity's business planning program about 7 years ago, and I also went through their financial education workshop first. And the reason I went to the financial education course is because I really needed to learn how to make money. And I was so excited to sign up for this class. It really changed my life. And the business planning program also changed my life. So prior to that, I was not able to afford groceries or go to the doctor or afford prescriptions or any of those things that I really needed, nor was I able to really get my business going. Fast forward, post business planning program, after just a few years, my business was bringing in 6 figures, and I have a team that supports me. So I've created other jobs for people, and also my business gives back to the community. So it's been an incredible experience. I can definitely afford the food that I want, and I'm very lucky to be able to go to the doctor whenever I need to. And I'm just so grateful for Enterprise for Equity and what they do. So please support them in their December fundraiser. I'm going to be there, and I can't wait to see you.
Thank you, Beth. Were you finished, or?
Well, I need to finish because I'm over, but I'm going to really quickly, because I know you're going to get this, is I wanted to just highlight a few best practices in our programs, prioritizing the creation of a safe space, using case studies and stories that are inclusive, observing and using proper pronouns, inviting all voices, acknowledging that institutions and systems have created and do continue to create wealth disparities. We love to offer our Money 101 classes as a program over the course of a month, so people really have an opportunity to unpack their money story, hear that everybody struggles, and practice habit changes in a supportive environment over time. Okay, I'm gonna let you look at that other slide when it gets sent to you. I appreciate the time, and I do apologize for going over.
No, thank you so much, Beth. I appreciated just having a different way of learning. So through that video was great. We're going to go now to Sophia. And I want to just say thank you for your patience, all of you. Stretch if you can. We're making it through this. And so without further ado, Sophia.
Hi, everyone. My name is Sophia Austin. I work with the YWCA in Seattle. I'm going to get my presentation started. So I am the bilingual instructor for Hope and Power classes under the Economic Resilience Initiative. I'm going to start with the big picture of our program and YWCA and then get down to this class that I do. I'm also the program assistant for other classes we do and our coaching program, so I can give the bigger picture as well. So YWCA is Young Women's Christian Association. We're not religiously associated. It's just a really old, really national program. And the location I'm in is Seattle, King, Snohomish. That's what we serve. But we're connected to many other regions as well. So to continue. So I'm at the Ywca Greenbridge, which is in South Seattle. And specifically, we're under the Economic Empowerment Initiative, our location. So basically here, our mission is to help both men and women attain life and job skills through training, education, computer classes, internships, job placement, and career development centers. So I'm really in the topic on the side of economic empowerment that we're going to be talking about today. So under that, I'm in the Economic Resilience Initiative. And this is an initiative that builds skills and confidence in personal finance specifically. So we have my class, the Hope and Power for Your Personal Finances, which is designed specifically for domestic violence survivors who identify as women. And it's a really great trauma-informed and holistic class that's 10 weeks long and includes very similar content to what Beth's class was talking about, very common personal finance topics such as credit and navigating debt, navigating saving and investment, but it also includes topics unique to the class such as safety planning, financial abuse, family law, things that are really important specifically to survivors. And we also have our money mechanics class, which is a shorter version that's very similar to Hope and Power, which is more generalized and also customizable. Both Hope and Power and money mechanics depend on the community we're serving. I'm the bilingual instructor, so I do English and Spanish. So Hope and Power is in English and Spanish, but money mechanics has been in many different languages, mostly English, but they've been partnering with many local organizations, and currently we're planning an Amharic class for the Ethiopian community. And so that's an amazing class as well. We also have an opportunity for financial coaching for graduates of those programs. It's a one-on-one program with our coach, Diana Alvarez, and it can last up to 6 months, and graduates can have one-on-one meetings about every 2 weeks, every week, depending on their schedule. And it is a program to really make a plan to save or pay off debt, or really depending on the needs of the participant. And it's a really great, cool opportunity because right now, at least with funding, they make a plan of saving or paying off debt up to $500. I mean, obviously they can save more, but the YWCA will actually match up to $500, 2-to-1. So if the person in that 6 months or less saves or pays off $500, they will get $1,000 in return. So it's awesome, and it really helps people get going in their personal finance situation. We also have a money support group that is for the Hope and Power participants, specifically open to anyone who's ever taken Hope and Power. It is, or Hope and Power or money, actually, no, sorry, it's Hope and Power. And so we have it in both English and Spanish. And basically it's every 2 months or every quarter. And it's more of a discussion, a continuation of the content of the class, but more personalized to who comes to that class. We're really excited to plan out this year and have our participants continue their journey, because we know that like a 10-week class really is only an introduction, and having that support system and having those connections and maintaining them and having that accountability really counts. So I'll just get more specific and go into Hope and Power for your personal finances, because that's my personal class, my baby that I work on. So here's a description. So as I said, it's a holistic and community-led program designed for survivors of domestic violence, specifically who identify as women. It centers Black and Latinx women in the community as the most marginalized and targeted women. I mean, the YWCA itself centers Black women as the most marginalized in the community. We have classes in English and Spanish. That doesn't mean English and Spanish speakers are in the same class. They're separate, and we don't do translation. We make sure that in the Spanish classes, it's entirely in Spanish. We have, I speak Spanish, the presenters all speak Spanish, all the content is in Spanish. So that's the format we do. As I said, it's 10 weeks long, and each week we have about 2 topics. And we bring in guest speakers who are experts on those topics, because actually I'm not the end all be all of the personal finance topics. I bring in, my main job is to bring in community partners like Seattle Credit Union, like Ventures, as we've mentioned, who have a niche topic and connect with our participants and hopefully de-isolate them and create this network of support and resources. So community partnership, as I said, also not only do we have these speakers, but we partner every iteration of class with another organization. So for example, we've partnered with Dawn, we've partnered with LifeWire, often other domestic violence organizations. I've partnered with Via Comunitaria. This is a great way to do kind of a train the trainer format, where if another organization wants to learn how to facilitate classes like this or money mechanics, they can partner with me and co-teach and learn how to facilitate this class, what kind of content to do, how to connect to local partners, everything that we do basically. Or it can just be less of a different kind of partnership, like just co-teaching and having more of a supportive relationship where they are a teacher assistant. And usually they provide the base of our participants. So we target that specific community that they work with. And yeah, as I said, we're facilitating community and personal connections. Usually domestic violence survivors specifically have been isolated by their abusers. So we want to make sure that they know what's out there for them and also connect to each other as support. There's other people out there in your situation, and also emphasizing that they have important experiences and values and resources as well to help each other. So similar to what Beth was talking about, but with a little more, we have common topics such as basic banking, budgeting, financial abuse and safety planning, family law, immigration law, credit and debt management, starting a small business. I just brought in Myra for that from Ventures. And also we do education and financial aid. For example, we have representatives from community colleges come in. Like for banking and saving, we have Seattle Credit Union or Express Credit Union or Bank of America. We have law organizations and nonprofits come in for the law topics. And we even have topics that depend on the community partnership we have. Like it's totally customizable. They might ask for a specific topic. We've also, for example, added the topic home ownership and brought in someone from Home Sites to a local organization to talk about the process of buying a new house or being a first-time home buyer. We've also added the topic of starting a nonprofit, since that's a different process than starting a small business. We can completely change the topics and the topics based on who we're serving. So just to say the logistics of how this works, ever since COVID started, it's been completely online. I've only worked at the YWCA while we've had online classes, but I know how big of a transition it was, and I'm really proud of our journey, and I think we've gotten really great at even customizing our formats to the communities we serve. Like I usually for Hope and Power use Google Classroom, Gmail, even WhatsApp, different applications that I've found useful for my specific participants. In Money Mechanics, there's also, they've also just done it completely over WhatsApp or completely over email, depending on the language or level of literacy of the target population. And we also offer financial incentives for participation in graduation. So not only is this class completely free, I should have said that at the beginning, Hope and Power and Money Mechanics are completely free. We actually pay them to participate. So like usually every week they participate, they get $10. So in Hope and Power, 10 weeks, you can get $100, $10 for each week you participate in any way. And then there's also a graduation incentive. So there's a certain level of participation they have to reach to officially graduate. And if you make that, you get a graduation incentive in money, in cash, that matches your level of participation, depending on the point system. So I also want to talk about addressing the digital divide, since this class has been completely online. One of the biggest challenges has been having participants that are unfamiliar with technology or don't have the required technology to use. One huge issue and one awesome solution that I really want to bring up is how so many classes we've done, depending on the community, like I had a completely Latinx class that spoke Spanish where none of them had laptops or computers, and they were doing the class completely on their phones. And though that's possible and it's the minimum we ask, like have a device, have internet, it's completely easier to access this kind of information with a computer. And plus, if someone is missing a computer, we know that that is a limiting factor in many other aspects of their life. So depending on funding, we've been able to provide people laptops completely free, not just borrowing, just like buying a laptop that can cover their needs and giving it to them, and even providing headphones or whatever they ask for that might help them participate in the class and also continue with their lives and personal finance related to these topics. So that's it for me. Thank you so much. I'm really glad to be here and answer your questions. And yeah, I'm so glad to be amongst my peers here.
Sophia, excellent job. Thank you so much. It is really an impressive amount of work you're doing, and I'm excited that you are sharing, just as an organization, the power of financial education. And you know, you did tee up Myra, Gomez with Ventures. And that's one of the things we want to share in this webinar is that when you link together and layer your services, your work is stronger. So I'd like to introduce Myra Gomez with Ventures. Take it away, Myra. Thank you for your work. Thank you, Sophia.
Thank you so much, Lisa. My name is Myra Gomez, and I am the credit building manager at Ventures. And I am so very happy to be here with all of you today. I want to share our mission here at Ventures. We empower individuals with limited resources and unlimited potential to improve their lives through small ownership. As you can see, these are some of the entrepreneurs I am so honored to work with. So Ventures provides access to business, training capital, hands-on learning opportunities for entrepreneurs to start growing their own businesses. Classes are all provided both in English and in Spanish. So how do we assist these wonderful entrepreneurs? We offer several sessions throughout the year so their clients can learn about our programs and how can they enroll into our courses. After they learn that and they have enrolled into the course, this is a business basics course that they attend. It's an 8-week course. It meets once a week. And in this course, they learned everything about the basics of business, marketing, sales, financial management, and operations. So it's a very basic class, but very powerful because we give them a lot of tools. They also have coaches throughout the whole process. After graduating from this course, they have access to specialized services, such as one-on-one coaching. They have trainings specifically to their needs. They have financial services and incubations. Our incubations are part of being selling their products in our Pike Place store. We also have added an e-commerce store as well, and we also teach them how to put their products on an e-commerce store. And this is a very unique opportunity for all of our clients to receive that type of coaching while they're learning how to apply that and selling the products as well. We also have a food incubation program. Clients have access to a commercial kitchen. They have farmers market coaching. They also have catering opportunities with Pacific Tower. And just recently, we have partnered with PCC, where clients present their products to PCC, and some of our clients already are selling products at the PCC stores. We also have a business directory, where clients, after they graduated from the course, they can put their business profile, and they can be in our website as well. So it's a really good opportunity to keep flowing and getting other people to notice them. Ventures, we offer mini grants and we also help with other grants, business grants that are available. Ventures, we are now doing a mini grant worth of $500. They can use this money in any way they want. We don't say it has to be for business. They can use it for anything they need. And we've been giving grants since 2020. We have also assisted clients to apply in different kinds of grants. And we have partnered with other nonprofit and local government agencies to help distribute those business grants. I myself was part of this group. We partnered with the Business North Impact Northwest to help distribute grants for the unincorporated King County. This was a great opportunity to reach out to other communities, to other business owners, and I was very privileged to learn about many other businesses out there. Also, Ventures, we do a very detailed working with the clients. And one of the things that we do is helping them understand credit reports. A lot of people don't understand what credit report is, what are they looking at, and how do banks look at them. So when I work with them, we pull the credit reports. Of course, it's a soft pull. We don't want to affect their credit. Then we teach them what every single line item means, what is helping and what is hurting. We also make notes, ask questions. What do you want to do? What's happening here? What happened this here? Try to understand why they had this kind of hiccups or mishaps. Sometimes it's not even their own. There are things that is in the credit reports. So we go through very details on that. I'm sorry about that. So after we carefully go through every single line, we either make a debt repayment plan, or if it's they don't need to do a repayment plan, we go with their goals and aspirations, what they want to assist, and if they want to improve the FICO score, what do they need to do? So I assist them to define that and to define their financial goals. At Ventures, we do microloans. So we try to help them so they don't have to assist what it's already said. We don't want them to do a payday loans because they're so very expensive. So we do offer the venture loans. The one that we do right after they graduate, they can apply for this peer-to-peer lending loans. This is among their cohorts, and their loans go from $2,500 up to $3,500. There is no credit pulls on these loans. Then we have to establish a credit. So if you have a very thin line of credit or very bad credit, this is a good way to start. So this loan is a $300 to $1,000 loans to secure a secure credit card. We also do business builder loans that clients can use either for inventory, for materials, or any machineries that they may need to do to get their business started. I don't know why my thing is moving. So the loans go from $1,000 up to $50,000. So all of Ventures loans are for business purposes only. But since we work with clients very closely, and we know that micro businesses is not, it's one of the same, we also encounter to work with them with their own personal loan finances. So what if they need money for their own personal need? It's not for a business. We take this as an opportunity to teach them that there's other ways that you can obtain funds. And we try to create a program for them. We give them resources. We tell them where to go. We walk with them, right? Because it's once their financial stability and their own selves, they feel confident, then that business can grow. Okay, so we need to give them that form of feeling empowered. I can do this, and instead of going to the expensive payday loans, or if they already have their businesses, all these other predatories, like you can have $5,000, $10,000 now with a click of a button, but it's 30, 50, 200% interest rate. So we don't want them to fall into those things. So we try to work with them and make sure that it's something that it will be a great consideration. Will they benefit them and their families as well? We have wonderful community partners. WSMA is one of them. They help us secure funding and also to create networks. And that's how we are here, networking with all of my peers of the Department of Commerce. Thank you for helping us to access to capital, and also such as the Flex Fund. We have been able to help a lot of our clients go ahead and apply for the Flex Fund. That's one thing that Ventures have done all along. We also partner with other nonprofits like Communities Rise. They usually come in once a month. They talk to our entrepreneurs, what questions they have, so on and so forth. So it's great partnership that we have there. We also partner with HopeLink, and they support us with locations. That if we need to teach a class in Bellevue or in SeaTac and things of that sort, they have helped us, give us a place where we can hold our business funding. We also partner with local cities where they help us provide training courses in businesses in these areas like Burien, Seattle, King County, Snohomish County, and upcoming soon, Monroe. We also work with other CDFI for client referrals and partnering on business. Business Impact Northwest is one of them, and Craft 3 is another fund that we work with. We also partner with churches, which they lend us money, like Plymouth Church and the Adrian Dominican Sister Fund. The great thing about this is that we don't have to go by the guidelines of the SBA. So it's not government funded. So we're able to lend this money to people who are holding ITINs, and we make sure that they get their businesses also up, going. And I'm so happy to hear that Seattle Credit Union also does that. That's so fantastic. And I know Express Credit Union does that as well. So it's really good to have those as partners. And we also work with CalNav, which is a national organization. And this is a great program that we also help and partner with them as well. So this is what all I have. I am so happy to be here. Again, my name is Myra. I am with Ventures and be happy to answer any other questions that you may have. I also teach the courses of the Business Financial Business course, both in Spanish and in English.
Great. Thank you so much, Myra, and thank you to all of our panelists. That was so much information, and yet it's just a taste of what you do. And I know I have all kinds of questions. So this is all of your opportunity to ask questions of our panelists. We have some questions that we'll go through, but if you have a question, please drop it in the chat and we will do our best to get them covered. So while folks are formulating questions and getting them into the chat, I'm going to kick us off with a question, which is, what are the most important personal finance topics that you see folks have questions about or that they're interested in? And how do you help folks better understand or address those issues? And so I'm actually going to turn this back to Myra first. But what do you see as those key personal finance topics?
A lot of the people, sometimes they just want to be out. They don't want to have that debt because it's just so much debt. So that's one of the things that they ask me most. And a lot of the next one is, I want to buy a house. So how can I get out of debt to get a house? So those are the two things that I encounter the most. The third one that I get a lot of is medical debt. And the fourth one is student debt. So those are the things that most people are very, don't understand how to work with that. They don't know the laws. Sometimes there's a brand new law that they just passed for medical debt. They gave us like a 2019, they started with that you can do 6 months, but now it's up to a year. So you have a whole year to work with your medical debt in order to get a repayment plan. And as soon as let's say if it goes to collection, as soon as you pay it, it gets out of there. So it's removed immediately. So that's one of the main things I always get is, how can I save for a house? How can I get out of debt? How can I repay the medical debt? And how can I repay student debt? So those are the major ones that I see a lot of.
Thank you, Myra. And could you please repeat the name of the national organization you mentioned on your last slide? There was a question in the chat.
Oh, NALCAP. That's the National Latino Association. They help a lot of the Spanish programs. So it's a great program that we work with, and it's NALCA, NALCAP, CAB. Mm-hmm.
Okay, great. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
And medical debt, you're right, that's a huge one. We know that the #1 reason that folks file for bankruptcy in the United States is medical debt. And there are big changes coming, and we're still waiting to see how they shake out. But if folks are interested in learning more about charity care, we did a workshop in November that focused on all types of consumer debt, but we spent a lot of time on charity care and how you can actually go back and claim charity care. So take a look at our website and learn more about that, because that's a huge one. So thank you, Myra. Jenna Finesse, I'm going to turn it over to you to answer this question. What are the most important personal finance topics you see folks are really wanting to know more about, and how do you address them with people?
I think the most important credit topics that I hear, by the way, I'm a credit expert and I do have my own business, which is Fiscal Finesse LLC, Fiscal Finesse. Anyways, the most topics that I hear folks questioning is around credit. They want to understand it. You know, we recently, meaning Black folks, we recently got access to credit. It hasn't been that long that we were able to even access credit. So we came behind the far behind. So now we're trying to build it based on a system that we didn't have knowledge of. And so when I'm talking to Black-owned businesses, Black folks, female householders, they're just always interested in how do I build credit? How do I sustain it once I've gotten to an 800 credit score? Or I'm stuck between a 760 and a 780, and I don't know how to get beyond that. And so I teach about the main reason why you're stuck there is because of capacity. And so here's some ways to improve your capacity, to increase your capacity, to make sure that you get beyond that 800 mark. So it's really around credit. It's also access to capital. You know, folks are just they're startups. So they're like, wait, I went to so-and-so bank and they turned me down. Well, you should never have went to so-and-so bank. You should have went to a micro lender or a CDFI. And so pointing folks in the right direction, because we don't know. It's just like, it's common knowledge. It's common sense, but it's not common knowledge. So if you don't know, you just don't know. And when you know better, guess what? You do better. So just trying to turn them on to the resources that are out there, making those connections, but it's really around credit and access to capital.
Great, thank you for that, Jenna. I'm gonna ask Sophia, I know that you had some things you wanted to say about approaching budgeting conversations, because I think when people think financial education, they think budgeting. But Sophia, what did you want to share with us about that?
Yeah, I want to say budgeting is a huge conversation module and topic throughout our course. And I know it's scary and overwhelming for a lot of participants. So to get them started, we really kind of demystify the process. We turn it into different small steps. Our homework is really getting into that. So like, for example, we start out like, write down all your spending for a week. Then maybe practicing using a budget sheet with a hypothetical like income and expense game. And then, so it's like less personal, but then also finally reaching what budgeting can look like for you. We bring in a presenter. This time we have a recorded presentation by Seattle Credit Union, but we usually bring in banks or credit unions for that. And it's just a really motivating presentation saying that anyone can budget. We have a lot of participants that say they can't do any of it because they can't save. They don't have any money at the end of the month. Maybe they're don't even have an income. So how could they budget? And we really try to make it accessible and approachable. So by providing options like worksheets or just options like writing your own and your own piece of paper, or if you're more digital, like there are apps for it that do it for you automatically and help you out. Or you can use an Excel spreadsheet, just providing examples for that and going through it carefully and getting kind of forcing people to get started, because sometimes people need that push and accountability.
Thank you for that, Sophia. And I think one of the things you had mentioned before also was really tying it to each individual's values and goals, right? Like the things that are important to them, not about, like you, Sophia, telling the class what to do with their money, but like helping folks think through how they want to make choices about their money. So thank you for that. Lisa, I'm going to turn it over to you for some
Awesome.
Other questions.
Wonderful. Thank you. Oh, that was really helpful. I wanted to spend a little time with our microenterprise development partners in the room. What we know is that if people with limited incomes were able to increase their income more easily, it would help them move out of poverty. They could build assets and then move out of poverty. And so our question to you is, if a nonprofit that's working in housing or health or food, they may not realize that self-employment could be a really easy way to help the people they serve increase their income and move out of poverty. So I'm just curious how you help organizations that may not be familiar with self-employment really get to know and understand how that path could be viable.
Well, I'm very honored to have worked with several organizations. YWCA is one of them, where we actually talk turning a hobby or something that you're very good at into a business. So what we do is we partner with many organizations. We also put our information to local colleges and let them know that they can actually have access to us while coming to our sessions, our presentation sessions, so they can learn what ventures can offer and how can we assist them to get self-employed, right? Get that business going. So we try to work with many different organizations. I do presentations when I'm asked. I'm very honored to be part of that, answer any of the questions that clients may have. How do I start business? What do I need to do? I bring all of that information to them. And working with the clients one-on-one, sometimes they say, well, I don't even have money at the $100 to open a business. How can we do that? So we try to help them with all of that, trying to figure out to get them started. And we try to meet them where they're at.
Awesome, thank you. And Beth, would you like to add something, add your perspective to that?
You betcha. Yeah, thanks. I think really getting to know the caseworkers, case managers at different agencies to understand like what are their customers and clients bringing to them in terms of their needs that they may not be able to address. So like, I don't assume case managers at say DVR or DCYF understand self-employment, in a really robust way. So opening up conversations and giving stories about people who have been on assistance programs, who have had limited incomes, but have developed a business. Like those case stories are super inspiring and they make it feel really real. The other thing I would say is like people are doing this. People are doing business all the time, right? We know this. And so I think then that like once we acknowledge that, then the question can become, how do we help those folks do it better? How do we make sure they're making a profit? How do we make sure they're sustainable? How do we make sure they're not taking unnecessary risks, that they have a supportive group of fellow entrepreneurs, that they know what resources are in the community? So let's help people do better what we know they're already doing. And just like Myra said, we do information sessions and presentations at local social service agencies often.
So I just have one more quick question, and that is, we've had the great resignation. People through COVID had a chance to really look and think about what's happening in their lives and what's fulfilling them, and not wanting to work in a job they're not being honored at or not using their gifts and talents. So my question is, the workforce has changed during COVID. And so how do we support them as they embark on their path to be their own boss? And I know we don't have very much time, so if you have just a quick way of answering that, Beth, that would be great. And then Jennifer Ness.
I'm going to actually bounce that over to Jennifer Ness because I've spoken and like to give her that opportunity.
Awesome.
Thank you, Beth. I would say there are tons of resources, and I can't express that enough. There are tons of free resources at that. I mean, you've heard from some on the line here, but some other ones that come to my mind is like the Small Business Development Center, SCORE, the Women's Business Center, the Veterans Business Operations Center, your public library. So there are tons of resources available to help a small business to start and grow and to thrive. And so I would just say, try to get connected to some of those free resources to help you build that business correctly rather than not. All right. So I think that's the biggest thing, connecting to these resources that are around the Zoom right now and the ones that aren't here today, but there's so many, and the technical assistance providers. And if you don't know who they are, just reach out to any of these folks because we're all connected in some way or another.
Wonderful.
So that's the advice I would give.
Excellent. Thank you both. Thank you, all of you. This has been a tremendous opportunity for us. You've heard from a lending institution. There are many others out there. You've learned from a microenterprise development organization that does both financial education and small business. You've heard from a layering of 2 organizations that are doing phenomenal work. There are over 80 other organizations doing similar programming. And we want to just say thank you. I'm going to hand it over to Jennifer, and then I'll do the last closing.
Just a reminder, well, first of all, thank you to our panelists for being here today. And if we could do a round of applause for them, because really it's not easy to speak in front of everyone, and you have been amazing.
Woo!
So thank you.
So, and the last thing I just want to say is thank you all to you. We will be including the chat, the live stream with captions to everybody who registered. You'll be able to link with the partners on this page. And I also wanted to say that we will be working together on a series of workshops in the fall and in the summer that is based on what you shared is a need of yours. So if you have workshop ideas or you're inspired by what you learned today, please stay in touch with us. And again, thanks all of you who did an excellent job in your presentation. Black-owned Business Excellence has an event in May. We'll sure include that in the chat, and there are many others. Thank you again, everybody.